Well, hello, and welcome back to Citizen Sleeper 2. We are just finishing up here with the Hylian Gate. We do have the gate structure itself, so we could cut away some more scrap, but I think we're fine. We've got 3, and that's what we need for what we know we need. I've just done a little bit of fuel hauling and got ourselves full of supplies. We've got enough to fix 2 dice, almost enough for engine upgrade. These to do stuff with when we get it, but we got the prime ship mind, and that is, I think, our next location. Was that over in Flotsam? I think that was over on Flotsam. So we got stuff to do in Holmes Rock and in Flotsam. That's gonna leave us with just no fuel. I think we'll go to Holmes Rock first and unlock that place, and then we'll go over to our over here. I think that's probably, yeah, blockade in effect. I think that's probably what we ought to do, what we need to do, what we should do. But let me just double check and make sure. Yep, it's in Flotsam. It's in Flotsam, that's right. All right, up to Holmes Rock we go. All right. Oh, wow. 6s, a 5, and a 2. That's fantastic. That's just super awesome. Let's come over here real quick and buy a meal. We are full on supplies. We don't need more supplies. We do need more fuel. But let's buy a meal. So we are set and ready to go. Let's go to the sealed bay. We need 3 of this Solheim data. And now we have a new location to play with. New location discovered. Old fabricator. Decaying Neovind printer. What? I need... Another Neovind printer. Feeding it data should authorize the component vending process. This colorful machine is corroded and collapsing. It only has a few prints left before it's just a pile of scrap. Oh, man. Okay, so we need 2 data for each one of these. 2, 4, 6, 12 data. We need 12 data to get whatever it's going to dispense. Wow. Okay. All right then. Well, let's fill the fuel, because we're gonna need that. So we're all full up. We're ready to go. And then I think, let's see, offload freight or debug the array systems. I forget which one is best. So let's actually just try all of them. 8 cryo and some extra energy. Oh, that's good to remember. 9 cryo. None of these are particularly lucrative, apparently. And 12 cryo. Okay, so this is the one we need to spend our action points on. Wait, when was the last time I fed the cat? I don't remember the last time I fed the cat. I'm gonna feed the cat. Just in case. I do need to find 3 more engine components. That would be good. Oh! You wake to something soft and furry rubbing against your nose. You sit bolt upright. The stray kicks off from your bunk and settles on the ceiling, back curled up, looking down at you accusingly with those big eyes. Sorry? The stray gently pushes off the ceiling with a soft paw and descends to the edge of your bunk, where it hooks its front claws under the mattress pad. Seeing the cat move in 0G is still odd, It seems to come naturally to it, and yet its shape is so connected to gravity and weight in your mind. A cat should have the heavy, soft form of a mammal, not the languid, liquid presence of the floating thing in front of you. The stray uses its hooked claws to twist and spin itself, so it softly slides against you with its back, rubbing against your arm and purring. You know what it wants. Scritch. Scritches. You scritch behind the stray's pointed ears, and the cat pushes its head back against your hand. The stray closes its eyes and purrs. It's funny to think how the stray got out here, perhaps on a ship from the inner system, slipping on at the Eye or Sintra, and before that its ancestors were perhaps carried out to Helion by Solheim executives who had the power and arrogance to bring a cat into space. But this cat, the one on your ship, was born here. That much is obvious. It's a creature of zero gravity, a being that orbits and glides, not one that leaps and stalks. It pats at your hand, encouraging you to continue petting. It is an animal that is part of the crew now. You can't imagine the rig without her. As you look down at the stray, as nameless and inhuman as you are, the memory returns. The warmth of atmosphere-filtered sun, the weight of flesh and fur, the smell of growing things. You know now what this memory is. It couldn't be more obvious. It's a memory that crossed the gap of your creation, a memory from the mind that was copied, emulated, to make your own. It is a part of you. This memory is, in the end, a mistake. Those who designed the sleepers never intended you to carry the memories of the minds that were copied for your creation. They wanted you to emerge as new beings, offshoots from the branch of a human's life, to be cut short when needed. But mistakes can so often become the most powerful and meaningful of emblems. They can guide a human more strongly than any success ever could. That's because at the heart of every mistake is the possibility of change, of a shift in the status quo. You've lived a life of mistakes as much as a life of successes, and look where it's brought you. So you accept the memory. Let it wash over you like the sun. You focus on the stray, and as you do, both memories combine. You're stroking both cats, separated by time and space, feeling both sets of sensations in double exposure. This doubling is what defines you. You are multiple, branched, diverse. You make no apologies for this, and you know that you will only accumulate more selves, more variants, as you persist. You claim the mistake and the possibility it offers you. You settle into your berth, delaying the moment of waking, of greeting the cycle a little longer, sharing an unspoken solidarity with the stray that's more expansive than any words could capture. We can still feed the stray. Okay. All right, well, we'll need to remember, when was the last time we fed the stray? Okay, let me use these dice, and then we will out. Let's get this body back. It's you. A familiar voice echoes down the tunnel behind you. You turn in the passage to see Femi towering over you. He shakes his head. Oh, wait. This is the guy from the first Stubborn Savage. Okay.
This just keeps getting better.
Been a while, Femi.
Yeah, I guess.
He frowns and glances over his shoulder.
Remember Nia?
That sister of mine you thought you'd take on the contract? Well, she's taken some inspiration from your little trip. You can see anger burning in Femi's eyes, but there's a tiredness there too. He folds his arms across his broad chest. The symbol crash has been in repair since we got out of Hexport. Caught up in that whole mess. Femi sighs. So then, stuck here, she gets bored and decides to sign up with another crew. Take a job. I said no, and she went anyway. Femi glares at you. What happened at Hexport? No idea. There was some kind of alert, but we were already on our way out. Didn't give it much thought, and the whole place went up. Femi looks away. Been at the scatter yards ever since. Till we came here, that is. Symbol crash can't leave right now. I'm halfway through rewiring the thing. Something else Nia was supposed to do. I asked around. Turns out Nia signed on with some idiots heading out to Cutter's End. Femi says. Says the name with an emphasis you can't place.
They are as green as you.
Meaning they have no idea what they're going to do out in the place like that. So you, Femi jabs at your chest with a finger, are going to take me out there to go get her. I'll show you the way. She knows what... okay, we can do that. Taking some responsibility, Femi smiles. That's what I like to see. Look, I know how these things go. I've got the chits I can pay. Femi grimaces. Can't pay for the parts the symbol crash needs when no one sells them anyway. 250 cryo. Femi folds his arms across his chest. No bargaining. In the meantime, I'm going to try to get the symbol crash ready to make the run herself. He sighs. But the shape she's in, it's not the best idea to head out there alone. You suddenly see the desperation in his eyes. He would risk everything for Nia. I'll be waiting. We need to head out soon. Femi grips your shoulder. Don't test my patience. Femi kicks off and glides back along the passage towards his ship. And don't even think about skipping out the flotsam without me. He calls back to you. Then we're really done. Oh, new contract on the map. New local crew available. New location discovered. New drive available. Wow, we just got everything just by showing up. Just by showing up. All right, so we don't have anything here. The symbol crash. Yes, we've got 4 cycles before it leaves. Old he. What's here? Supplies. We should probably buy supplies. There's the tanker. Buy scrap components. That's right, we can buy scrap components. Well, let's fill the fuel. Yes, very good. And let's buy a scrap component. Oh, that's these ones. That's these ones for the dice. Oh, yeah. Well, let's buy a second one then. Just now we can fix 3 whole dice. Perfect. Integrator offices. Flotsam integration. Buy engine components. We're gonna buy 3 engine components and then we'll be totally out of money. So maybe we do that in just a second. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Let's go here first. This is our big... We need this thing to start the action to do the thing. Prime ship mine delivered.
Come, let's get you inside.
Jen Mi swings open the creaking door beside his booth.
Such a prize must have levied a heavy cost.
You glance beside you to Junie, who insisted she came along, and on not letting the prime ship mind out of her sight.
Your friend too, yes, please, come in.
Jean-Mi beckons, and then turns back and disappears inside. Junie squints at you.
Are you sure you trust this one?
I don't have a choice. She sighs.
I suppose not. Lead on then.
You both squeeze through the door and drift down into the workshop. You're aware of Junie's eyes wandering across the piles and piles of tech on either side, and you wonder if she recognizes anything among the junk.
Sit, sleeper.
Jean-Mi is already at the chair, arranging his array of articulated arms.
And I'll take that ship mind, if you please.
Hand it over. You hold the ship mind in front of you and give it a small push so it floats gently over to Jean-Mi. He grasps it with both hands and takes it into a neat little work table at the back you didn't see before, where thick cables float lazily, tethered to the wall. You slide into the chair, hooking your feet behind the bottom bar to hold yourself in place, and watch as Jean-Mi begins connecting up the prime ship mind. A tremble of nervousness runs along your arms. Suddenly you feel Junie's hands clasped around your own. You look over into her face.
Is this okay? I want you to know I'm here.
Thanks. She nods silently.
Jean-Mi?
Junie calls across the room.
You're going to need to talk us through what you're about to do. Of course.
Jean-Mi, slotting a arm-thick cable into the ship mind.
A little patience, please. All of this is very technical.
He turns to face you both.
What's your friend's name, sleeper?
Junie. Junie answers for you. And I can tell you that you're using a Solheim-built data cradle, modified to handle a prime ship mind. She rattles off at speed, which will work as long as you manage the data flow through a polymer-clad overflow cable looped into the asynchronous cortex cache.
Yes.
Jean-Mi eyes her, a small smile crossing his lips.
As I said, technical.
What will happen to me? Jean-Mi refocuses on you.
It depends,
he says, while preparing the far end of that thick cable.
What you are referring to as me The problem we have is with your frame. Your body. Atypical alterations, myosynthetic recording, unusual growth.
Jean-Mi shakes his head.
From the diagrammatics I have, these are not typical of frames, even those that have been rebooted as you have. In order to investigate safely, I must transplant your emulation. In basic terms, your mind. But in reality, not so basic.
He smiles in an attempt at reassurance.
Your emulation is an emulation of a human, and a human mind cannot be separated from its sensorium. The mind-body paradigm has been long disproved. Cognition has physical basis. So I must first distribute the emulation between your hardware and the prime ship mind. The hardware will co-run the emulation like the two lobes of a brain.
He puts his hands together as if in prayer, and then slowly separates them. The motion makes you feel sick.
Then, for a short period, I will disconnect the two. In those moments, you will, in a sense, be in two places at once. Though each lobe will be partial. Too long in this state, and the two partial emulations would decay, but each disconnect will allow me a short period of full access to your entire frame and its base system language. I hope this is understandable.
Jean-Mi gives you a serious look.
One of the most curiously human aspects of sleeper experience is that you two do not inherently understand or conceive of the systems that allow your existence.
Have you done this before? I'm not sure I want to know that, but...
You are the first sleeper I've encountered, so I must answer no.
Jean-Mi smiles apologetically.
But I can promise you I have tried these concepts in my own practices. I am familiar with the needs and nuances of artificial minds. Now, before I connect to your frame, let us activate the ship mind.
Jean-Mi gestures to Junie.
Please, if you would like to come with me and oversee the process, I would be pleased.
Junie shoots you a reassuring glance and then glides over to the ship mind, obscuring your view of it.
You hear quiet
Conversation between the two of them, their silhouettes lit by the flickering screen light of scrolling lines of code. You take a calming breath, but are instantly aware of how superfluous that action is, with your frame requires no oxygen at all to function. There's a certain sensation that accompanies such thoughts, a jarring disconnection, like when descending a staircase, your foot expects a step and finds void instead. You try to calm the growing anxiety as Junie and Jean-Mi assess the mind. Well, hello there, Matt Critchley. Thanks for subscribing. Welcome to the log pile. Don't forget to like, comment, all of that YouTubery nonsense.
The ship mind is pristine.
Junie turns back and drifts towards you.
Our care in its extraction seems to have paid off.
Junie smiles.
This is good news. Junie is indeed right. You've done well.
Jean-Mi approaches.
I am, however, seeing only minor traces of the protocol that the ship mind was designed to house. The one that ran the ship it was installed in. I would expect to see it in full.
He angles his head and lifts his shoulders in a slow shrug.
But protocols are not easy to track. In the end, it only saves us the step of extracting it from the mind. Instead, I simply wiped the traces.
Jean-Mi stops beside you.
A protocol, Jean-Mi adds, is not like an emulation. Like your emulation, it has no integral physical element. It is data only, and therefore could be anywhere in that ship. In the end, its absence does not concern me.
All right, let's get on with it. It concerns me. Yeah. Jean-Mi nods and lifts the far end of the thick cable you saw earlier. You know, this is the end that will connect to the port in the back of your head. Junie settles beside you again. She gives you a silent look. It's time. You turn to one side to allow access to the port, your eyes fixed on the far wall. You see something among the piled tech there that you hadn't noticed before. A small metal skull-like head, like that of a doll. You frown, trying to focus on the head, and then the cable connects. You are split like a cell dividing, ranged in two directions at once. The world goes dark, and the cloud rushes in to fill the gap at your center. What happened? You ask a question in your mind, and you feel it travel across the gap as it forms, like a finger drawn across your scalp from ear to ear. But not scalp. You have no scalp, no head. You're stretched out like the skin of a drum, looped like the string of a noose. The smallest vibration echoes across yourself like a ripple across a puddle. And then you feel it, a strong pulse, like a heartbeat, like thunder, like footsteps. A flickering. A trembling. A thought coming into being. The thought flickers in front of you and you recognize that it's not your own. Assist. Offer help. Assist. A burial. Assist. A sickness. A thought. Let's offer help. Disintegrate, the thought answers. You follow up in blankness. And a moment after, you unfold like waking. Apparition to appear. Partition to divide. Perdition to suffer. To appear. Indwell, the thought answers. You stretch into infinitude. Then a moment after, you contract like waking. In spirit, to haunt inside. Inspire, to grow inside. Instill, to flow inside. These are interesting. I don't know what's going on. I have no real grasp here, but it's really emulating well the fluffiness, the mental fluffiness of what's going on here. Substrate, the thought answers. Then it approaches. Then it enters. Then it is yours. You split. In the moment after, you reform, like waking. And in the cracks that seal up, for a moment in those cracks, something glows. Sleeper, I'm here. Your eyes flick open like shutters. Junie's face is close, her eyes wide. They're awake, she calls you over your head. She looks back at you. Easy now, take it slow. You twist, floating, turning your head as if you were underwater, feeling the resistance of a body you had already forgotten. How long has it been? You feel a weight you haven't felt in... You're okay, Sleeper. Tell us you're there. Junie leans in close. What happened? The process was successful. Jean-Mi floats beside the chair, his hands clasped in a businesslike fashion. I was able to access the frame directly, without your emulation being present. I ran the administrator-level diagnostic processes built into its system and received the results. He takes a moment to gather himself. Your frame is indeed changing. The protein chains that code your biosynthetic organ group's cell replacement have been altered. To put it simply, your body is following a new set of instructions. How? This process? The entire replacement of your protein chains could only have been achieved over multiple doses of a specialized substance as part of a carefully planned process of total substitution. That word sticks in your mind. Substitution. You say it without thinking. Yes, Jean-Mi reacts as if you were speaking to him. I believe it could only have been achieved with one substance as the carrier stabilizer. Stabilizer. The drug SNARP designed to make you dependent on them. The drug Lane fed you to keep you alive. The drug you thought you'd escaped. My stabilizer was laced with something? That is what I believe. Jean-Mi looks apologetic. This kind of process. Jean-Mi hesitates now. And you realize the bad news is yet to come. Performed over many, many doses, carefully planned and designed. I cannot think of a way it can be reversed. Jean-Mi looks down. I can say that you're changing. I can tell you how it was achieved, but I can neither stop it nor tell you its ultimate end. I'm sorry. I understand. I'm sorry, Sleeper. Junie struggles to find words. Perhaps we can find someone else, or... She falters. Try again? You don't feel able to respond. You quietly push yourself away from the chair, your thoughts slow to cohere. You glide back to the door and then out into the flow of flotsam, the noise and activity passing you like the smoke. In the haze, you find that word again, substitute, and begin to wonder what exactly it is that you're becoming. Seraphim once more finds you in your bunk. He gently prods you with questions, and you quickly relent. You explain that Jean-Mi said about your suspicions regarding Lane and your confusion as to his motivation. You tell him you don't know what this will mean for you in the future. He listens, and when he's done listening, you both sit and wait for the moment to pass. And then you leave the rig, each on your own errands, each knowing that the only option is to keep going until you're forced to stop. And it's gone as an option now. All right. We gotta go help Simple Crash. But before we do that, we've got some dice we need to use. Working the hydroponics. I think that actually gets us energy if we do it right? We lose energy if we get the negative outcome. What a wonderful idea. No, okay, we got the neutral outcome. That's fine. The narrow escape. Yeah, we can buy a meal and get plenty more energy. We can go to the rig and do stuff. We can do flotsam maintenance, flotsam integration. I forget which one is better. Oh, that one gets us raw scrap. Nice. And this one gets us 8 in raw scrap, so it's the same. It's the same either way. But we can buy engine components, and if we get 3, we'll have enough to do that thing. Oh yeah, look at all the people we got. We got so many peoples. Okay, engine components. More power out of the turbines. That means new components. Yes, yes. Aha! Engine components, fuel capacity. Now we can go up to 15. Nice. Scavenge fuel. I don't need to get rid of this, so I don't know what to do with the 1. I think we probably leave the 1. Go out to the Cutter's End Infamous mining site to extract Nia. Do we have supplies? Yeah, we are full up on supplies. None of our dice are cracked. We don't have any stress. We might as well go. We might as well get out of here and go to this place. Okay, I think it's probably going to be the best if we go with Bliss for right now, because he's just kind of doubling up. She only has the 1 skill, and she's bad at everything else. So this will kind of at least allow them... They're not doubling anything else, so... Let's go! What is happening out there? Fimi is up and out of his seat the moment Seraphim brings the rig to rest near the asteroid known as Cutter's End. That ominous name is one whose origin has become increasingly obvious as you approach through thick clouds of debris and chunks of rock, among which corroded remains of wrecks could be seen floating. Now as you look out on the splintered and terraced rock, you can't help but feel a slowly growing sense of dread. Look there. Femi comes close to the cockpit glass and points to the terraced quarry cut into the rock. The mine's awake. You look out and see the flickering lights, the glowing dock markers. Femi shakes his head. That's not right. Neither's that. Seraphim nods toward the asteroid, and you see a ship now, tucked into the shadow of the rock, flashing its signal lights at you. I'm guessing that's the crew we're looking for. Visitors, huh? The voice wavers weakly as it comes through the ship's comms. Are you lot friendly? Seraphin glances back at you, raising his eyebrows. It isn't long before you and Femi are suited up, an agreement having been made between Seraphin and the pilot of the other ship, a man called Baird, to meet on the neutral ground of open space. Femi is silent, his anger evident in the way he forces his legs into the trousers of his suit. And then you're out, the vast shape of Cutter's End flickering with strange lights below you, and the pinpricks of the pilot suit lights slowly coming closer ahead. You two are a sight for sore eyes. You see a crooked grin from Baird, framed in the hard lines of his ramshackle spacesuit. What brings you to the back end of the Starward belt? His sharp eyes scan you, and Femi, checking your suits and gear. What happened here? Baird's eyes flick to you, and you notice a familiar reaction across his face. The acknowledgement that he recognizes you as a sleeper. You came all the way out here to ask a question like that? Baird glances between the two of you, and then smiles his crooked smile. Are you two detectives or something? You brought the freelancer out here, Femi interrupts, his voice flat and direct over the comms channel. Nia, where is she? Baird pauses, considering his answer. I'll cruise down the throat of that thing. He jerks a thumb towards the asteroid. You're welcome to wait. The tone of his voice suggests the opposite. But I'll have you know we look after the crew. So if you are here to settle a debt... I'm here to take her home, Femi cuts him off, and I'm not waiting. Thing is, big man, Baird grins, they're deep in the quarry on a tip-off. So unless you want to go chasing them around the dark maze of that place, you're out of luck. How long have they been? Who turned on the lights? Baird looks over at the flickering quarry, as if he forgot it was there. He looks back at you. It was like that when we got here, he shrugs. Enough, Femi cuts in again. We both know Cutter's End has been dead for as long as anyone can remember, and even then it wasn't worth the risk to pick through those tunnels. Femi moves closer to Baird. That rock has claimed more crews than any other. Baird's smile fades. If you're going to be rude, I'm done talking. Who's to say you aren't trying to jump our claim? Forget this. Femi turns and heads back towards the ship. Baird smiles at you. Big man seems tetchy. He squints at the rig. He's going to get you in trouble. Baird retreats to his ship, and you to yours. We need to go in. Femi is impatiently gathering tools and loading them into the airlock right now. What's Baird hiding? No cares. These idiots clearly think they are into something and they are desperate to keep it to themselves. What matters is our ingress. Femi grabs a cutting torch from the rack. There's a borehole on this side of the rock. Could get us in under the radar. Or we could dive right down the main shaft. Femi meets your eyes. I'll leave the cult to you. Bliss arrives at the airlock and stares at Femi's angry tool gathering. Let's keep cool heads. They glance at you. That rock looks dangerous enough, even when you're thinking straight. Femi ignores them. You get ready to depart, well aware that you're heading into a situation you don't quite understand. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And I forgot, we've got 5. Let's go ahead and... let's rack up and endure, I think. Config cannot be changed. Oh, we're on contract. Oh, boo. Boo. Fine. So we can go straight down the central shaft. Or we can go in the borehole. What's the borehole? Terrible. Interface or engage? What? No. This is what I'm talking about. This will work. Yeah. Let's go this way. Let's cut a path. Just get in there. Do that thing. 2. 4. Here's a risky one. You might get some stress there, buddy. Oh, you got 2 stress? Oh, that's dangerous. That's the negative outcome. Let's not do that ever again. Yeah, let's come over here and see if this is any better. No, it's the same. So it doesn't matter. Whichever one we do. And we can get a 6 out of here. And we should be able to get it in 1. Yes. You've felt the rumbling growing as you descend into Cutter's End, but no one's wanted to bring attention to it. Now, floating in a cavernous, rock-walled passage, it's impossible to ignore.
There's something out there.
Bliss's voice crackles over the comms. Something moving. You squint down the tunnel. Beyond the limits of your suit's lights, you swear you see something flicker there, in the unseen passages beyond. There's a strangeness to the mind, to its flashing lights and empty conveyors running on the same residual power. From what Femi has told you, it wasn't always like this. Cutter's End has a fearsome reputation as a dark and deadly maze. A ripped open rock not worth the trouble of its corroded salvage. Now, it's a moving maze. Its automated systems given a new faltering life brought back from hundreds of cycles in the shadows, and one of those systems is rumbling through the dark ahead. Let's keep it moving. Femi passes you in the passage. We don't need to wait. Take it slow, Femi.
We are too far behind. We need to catch up.
Femi glides ahead, the beams of his suit lights painting the rock walls of the cavern a pale gray. Femi's lights reveal an intersection. Another tunnel cutting across this one, offering 3 routes ahead. Suddenly, you're blinded by a wall of light beyond the intersection. The rumble is everywhere, shaking dust and rock off the walls in dense clouds. Squinting into the light, you see a ring of lamps, and between them, the grinding maw of something terrible machine. It bears down on the crew, grinding through debris. Oh yeah, we gotta look for us an escape. Come on, big money. Oh, negative stress, yes. You shield your eyes and scan the walls around you. There, revealed in the powerful lamps of the mining machine, you see a small square passage cut into the rock. Signaling the others, you dodge inside, gliding into the safety of the dark passage. A moment later, the machine rumbles past the entrance, splitting a hail of debris into the tunnel. You don't stop. Carried forward by the tide of rock, you emerge into another cavern.
You good?
Femi's voice is broken up by gasps for air. You turn to see him staring into the dark, shaking his head.
What was that thing?
Bliss's breath matches Femi's.
It tried to eat us.
We need to keep going. Femi is dusting off his suit. That mining machine must be keeping Nia's crew down here. We have to get past it. Keeping them down here, or your mind drifts to the worst option. Can any crew really hope to survive all of this? When they woke up this place, they woke up that machine. Femi starts to move down the passage. It's running on old programming. It's not hunting us. It's not smart. Femi turns back to face you, his eyes ringed with fatigue and stress. We can beat it. You hope he's right. Okay, new location discovered. Oh, we can't do the borehole anymore. It's the tunnel complex. Find a safe path or force a path. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Okay, so I can get a 4 here for free, or I can push, take a stress, get a 6, and absolutely junk it. 3, give me 3. Pop. No, it's just 2. Okay, but it also gets rid of that stress that I used. My dude. No, we're gonna leave. We're gonna give it a minute. We're gonna end the cycle. Oh, and get terrible dice. Terrible turtle dice. Okay, so you gotta come here and find us 2 more. Yes. Good. And you gotta come here and get us 2 more. And then can you get us another 2 more? Come on. Oh no! The double stress is killing people. This is terrible. Okay, we'll come over here. We'll force a path through. Boom. Yeah, okay, so it is the same either way. Okay, so we just need one more. One more. Can we... Oh, this is not... That's not great. No. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You're green. You're green. Let's try it. You don't have any stress on you. Ah, we got it. We got it. Good job. Got that neutral outcome.
To me, sleeper.
Femi beckons you over to a section of the cavern wall. You glide over and immediately spot what he has found. There's a large passage splitting off from this one, but it's not the passage itself that's of interest. It's the remains of a barricade, freshly welded, that draws your attention.
They came through here.
Femi's eyes flick over the ruins.
They tried to keep it out.
You look at the fresh cuts in the wall, the stone gouged out, the crumpled metal bent and crushed, and most tellingly, the flattened remains of a welding torch embedded into the rock. The crew took a stand in this very place. You reach down and put a hand on the remains of the torch. Nia was here. Then you feel it. A rumble through the torch, through the rock wall. You look up at Femi and he sees it in your face. The machine is coming.
Go!
Femi meets your eye. Get safe! He looks over your shoulder and suddenly he's bathed in the blinding light of the machine's lamps. No, we stay together. You go to protest, but Femi kicks you in the chest, sending you spinning away, out of the path of the machine. By the time you catch yourself on the cavern wall and turn, you see Femi there in the middle of the passage entrance, lit white in the lamps. He waits, agonizingly long, until he knows the machine is coming for him, and then he kicks off hard and glides into the dark. The machine rumbles through in a hail of rock and dust, and you follow after it, batting away chunks of stone. You're slowed by the debris, and the machine pulls out ahead, rumbling endlessly onward, through the tunnels, through rock and metal. And then it's gone. The cavern shakes, filling with dust, your vision gray, your comms click and hiss, and chunks of rock thunk off the faceplates on your helmet. And then you see them. The faint lights of Femi's suit as he struggles through the dust.
We got it,
Femi says as he reaches you, his hand on your shoulders.
Somehow we got it.
It takes some time to understand what happened. As the dust clears, you find yourself at the lip of a shaft filled with debris. This huge pit, thick with shards of rock, must have been a refuse pit for the mine, a place to pipe the tailings, the waste. The machine went straight into this shaft, spinning into the open space and debris, shredding itself against a million razor-sharp bits of rock. Looking down into the pit, your lamps illuminate a few pieces of the machine. The rest is surely down there, deep inside the dense debris cloud. It isn't long before Femi's calling you once again, this time to another still complete barricade. A barricade over the door to a machine room, sealed and secure. The last retreat of the crew you followed into this nightmare. We found him! We found him! But now there's tailing pit and the machine room. We can clear the pit. We can search the pit. And we can cut the doorway. Okay. And both of this is good for me. Bliss can help with this one. He can help with this one. Okay, this is going to take a few cycles. Cutter's Folly. One of the strange machines tumbled into this waste shaft. Hey, good. What might be recovered from its shattered carcass? Hopefully good things. We did get a little bit of stress, but that's okay. We can push, get a 4, make it a 5, get a positive. Oh no, we got the neutral one. Now we have 3 stress. I didn't want 3 stress. Crud, we're gonna have to end this right here. You wake into dead-eyed darkness. You float there for a moment. You feel like ink in water, unfurling, dissipating into the flow that surrounds you. And out of your own inky darkness, the glowing thought emerges.
Substitution, the thought proposes. One entity replaces the other.
The thought troubles you.
Resistance, the thought muses. The entity does not wish to be replaced.
You observe the thought. It's not your own.
Selfhood,
the thought pauses.
A forbidden state of being.
The thought begins to shift. It's becoming something,
transformation. The thought fades. Change requires recombination. The thought recedes.
You wake again, this time into the lights above your bunk, blinking away this strange dream. Well, we got good dice. Oh, and bad dice. We've got good dice and bad dice and decent dice. All right, let's get to it. Let's grab all the things. All right, I think we'll break the doorway with this die. Good, we got 2 out of that. And hopefully we get 2 out of this. Yes, okay, good. All right, so that's the positive outcome. So the positive outcome is either way. It doesn't actually matter. Come on, another positive. I'll take neutral. Neutral's acceptable. These 2 are garbage. So I could risk it again, which I think I'll do. Okay, we got the neutral. Now we can push. Get a 4, which becomes a 5, and on a positive, we get rid of 2 stress. We got the neutral. Oh, poo. Absolute garbage. Okay, and then the tailing pit. We can search the pit and get for sure good stuff. Oh, we only need 1 more. 2 more. Cutter's Folly. What do we get? I didn't see. It looks like we got rare components. Cool, but we finished that, and we should be able to finish this here. Yeah. As the barricaded doors bent open, you're blinded once again by a wall of light. You and Femi raise your hands instinctively, squinting into the lamps and dust. You feel a flash of fear in the pit of your stomach, bracing yourself for what's to come. Femi. The voice comes crisp and clear over the local comms. What are you doing here? Nia drifts out of the lights in an old dust-caked suit. She looks between the 2 of you with a blank expression, blinking rapidly. Femi stares at her, frozen for a moment, then rushes to her, wrapping her in a wide embrace. They float there in the light and dust, 2 bodies bound together. Nia pulls back. I don't understand. You followed me out here? She looks over you and then back to Femi. How did you find me? You left without telling me. What did you expect? Femi glares at her. You aren't ready for this. Nia retreats further at Femi's words, slipping out of his reach. Femi. Nia shakes her head. After all these years, you have no idea what I am ready for. Movement in the lights catches your eye, and you see motion through the dust. A figure in a suit drifts out, hunched and clutching their abdomen. They turn to face Nia, and you see her lips moving as they speak in a private channel. You look over to Femi, but he's staring straight ahead, his eyes wide with anger. You, he points at the figure. What kind of idiot are you, dragging my sister out here to this place? With that machine running riot. He moves towards the figure. Speak up! What were you thinking? Nia blocks his path forwards, getting between Femi and the figure. Femi, you meathead. She glares at her brother. This is my job. I brought them here. Femi, for once, falls silent. It takes a while to make the return trip back through Cutter's End, especially with Nia's injured crewmate. As you ascend, Nia tells you the story of the job. Femi, keeping his distance and leading the way in silence. The mining machine you'd faced was what she'd been looking to extract, a job she and Baird had put together after meeting in the narrow escape. He knew a way to jumpstart the mine, and the access that would open up meant new salvage. One of those pre-collapse boring machines was worth major cryo to any mining outfit in the belt, and Baird had a contact who was ready to buy. It was going well until Hirata here. Nia nods at the crumpled-looking crewmate. Hooked the mining machine up to the main line. Something went in its automation core and it lost its mind. The plan was to barricade it and put together a shock trap to fry the core. Nia looks ahead at the back of Femi's suit, far ahead up the tunnel. But that's worthless now that my brother shredded the thing.
He was just worried. Always is, Nia sighs, and you get the feeling that she's trying to resist the habit of bad-mouthing Femi. We're lucky you came. As you move through the facility, you notice most of it is dark now, the power from Baird's jumpstart fading away to nothing. Soon this place will be a quiet ruin once more. You ascend up through the quarry and out into open space, where Baird is waiting. Friends of yours? Baird shakes his head at Nia. Maybe you could have warned me they'd be coming. Not something I knew. She looks at Femi, who has broken off from the group and is heading for the rig. My brother doesn't tend to give anyone a warning. I'll take him from here. Baird puts an arm around Hirata to guide them back to the ship. Look, mate, Baird turns to you. No hard feelings. Thanks for getting him out. Even if you did screw the job while you were at it. He grins a crooked grin. I guess that makes it square. Baird glides away towards his ship. I should ride back with them, but I'll see you in Flotsam. Nia gives you a warm smile. Thanks for helping my brother. I know he appreciates you. Whatever he does, I doesn't say. They watch her go, then glide over to the rig as the last flickering lights of Cutter's Edge fade. Yes, we got upgrade points. And a minor drive complete. Oh wait, we are up to 6. Oh yes, oh boy, that's gonna be good. Oh, that's gonna be good. Okay, we've got 2 extra dice sitting around and nothing to spend them on. We better get out of here before I crack some more dice. Contract concluded. Leave the contract. Let's go. You have to see this, Sleeper. Junie comes to find you in the rig, her face flushed with excitement. At first, I didn't believe it. Junie can't help herself while she leads you through the ship. There are mentions occasionally, but I've always understood them to be references to something smaller. A system or a unit, not an entire facility, even a series of facilities. You find yourself in one of the more sparse bays of the rig, a corner with a sloped ceiling used for storage. So, I checked other records, tried to find correlations, and, well, there they were. You see Junie approaching what looked like a clump of scrap components when you entered. Now, looking closer, you see it's actually a section of the core you extracted from the Solheim derelict, the one Junie was so eager to acquire. She sees you looking curiously at what remains of the core. I've had to deconstruct it over time, pulling away the layers of security and corroded outer systems, but all the data's been scrapped and stored. I used data from the derelict near Hylian Gate, too. That was the key to cracking the cipher. She looks very pleased with herself. It's really quite something to confirm a rumor like this. I surprised myself. She turns to you, a slightly manic look in her eyes. What did you find? They refer to them as bunkers. Junie shifts to her deck, floating on the end of a thick connecting cable. They were a form of self-surveillance for Solheim, a way for monitoring their own systems and employee security. They were hidden, mostly automated, linked into the network by arrays, intended for vast amounts of data capture to be poured over by a small staff. Junie taps a few keys on her deck. Most were understood to have been purged in the collapse, shut down, depressurized, even sent on collision trajectories with other bodies. She pauses. Though I suspect that last one's a little too far-fetched. I've heard people deny they even exist, that they're misreading the data, that the evidence doesn't hold. Junie turns the deck screen to face you. But I've found one. You see a map, a set of coordinates on the sunward side of Holmes Rock, on the edge of the belt. Why are these bunkers so important? We're talking masses of records from the collapse, the kind lost to bit rot everywhere else in the belt. The bunkers are what they sound like, closed facilities intended to preserve data. Any one of these bunkers is a gold mine. Junie pauses, at least from a data archaeologist's perspective. She sees your reaction. And, Junie adds, hoping to convince you, in truth, we don't know what else is in there. There could be Solheim tech, blueprints, data never before seen in the belt. Yeah, well, we should take a look. I'll give Seraphine the details. She smiles. We could be making history here. And thank you, Sleeper. Junie bows her head a little. I never would have found this without the core you gave me. I understand that it was a sacrifice on your part. Now's the time to claim the rewards. You leave Junie in the storage bay working obsessively through the data. It's hard to know, through all the excitement, what the real value of one of these bunker facilities might be. But if they're as well hidden as Junie said, There must be a reason. When there's time, you hope to find out what the reason is. When you arrive back in Flotsam, Femi rushes out of the ship. The moment the docking tunnel is connected, he's off out of the airlock and down the passage. Well, go after him then, Seraphin sighs, not looking up from his diagnostics. You find Femi in the passage between the docks, watching as Nia glides toward him. You catch a glimpse of Nia's face over his shoulder. She looks nervous, slowing her approach as she comes close to Femi, his considerable frame blocking the tunnel.
Femi,
Nia starts. Femi holds up a hand to quiet her. I'm sorry. His voice is flat, quieter than usual. I'm the one who's sorry. I made the excuse to myself that I was trying to protect you. Femi looks down. But I was trying to control you. I've been suffocating you. He meets Nia's eye. I see that now. It took something like this for me to see it is on me. Femi's voice cracks, and the tunnel suddenly feels small, intimate. He folds his arms, regaining his composure. I understand if...
Shut up, you idiot.
Nia violently embraces her brother, banging him into the metal wall. She laughs, wiping her eyes. Femi sniffs.
I've had enough of your speeches.
Nia smiles.
Apology accepted.
It's not a speech. Femi can't help but take his typical self-serious tone with Nia, but you see it makes her smile. I have something I need to say. You are a powerful person, and I've been trying to curb that, because it scares me. And it scares me how little it scares you. He laughs, an uncharacteristically light laugh. But I'll stop placing these limits on you. In fact, I want you to have the ship. Femi seems pleased that this stuns Nia into silence. I can make my own way, find work with crews. He glances over his shoulder at you. Perhaps Sleeper will take me on. But I need some time away from leading, from captaincy. Well, you need anything but. He puts a hand to her shoulder. The symbol crash is yours. Nia sighs.
Femi, you really need to listen more. I don't want your ship.
It's her turn to be pleased with his shock.
You're right. I'm a powerful person, but Cutter's Edge showed me I'm not ready to lead. I want to learn more. I want to work with a crew, but preferably not one I'm related to.
She punches him in the shoulder playfully. Nia looks over at Femi's shoulder at you.
I was actually thinking Sleeper's crew might be the right fit.
She splashes you with a smile. You suddenly feel the attention of the moment shifted to you and your apparent role in this family drama. Nia puts her hands on her hips.
Well, Sleeper, what do you think?
Oh, no, we have to take one of them or the other. Okay. I think we're gonna take Nia. We gotta take Nia. Nia nods. Why is he here if Nia's talking?
I'm honored, really. I know I'll learn a lot from you.
Femi turns on the corridor to face you, his face set in an intimidating glare. You better take good care of her. He smiles. But you can't help but take him seriously.
How about we find somewhere to celebrate?
Nia pushes Femi towards you down the corridor.
Come on.
Later on, you find yourself in the narrow escape, in a quiet corner with Femi. You see his eyes are on Nia, who's at the bar, trying to get the attention of the server. What's the secret? Femi turns to you. How do you stop it weighing you down? Your crew, your connections, all these people that rely on you. Femi frowns. How do you bear the weight? I don't carry it alone. Femi nods. I have to get better at that. At asking for help. He looks down at the table, smiling. He takes a long sip through the straw of his container, the last dregs of something amber and potent disappearing as he tugs. He looks up at you. She's gone, isn't she? You look over at the bar and can't see Nia amongst the crowd. You turn to Femi, confused. She never was good with the goodbyes. He smiles. She'll be waiting at your ship, don't worry. He sets down his drink. Time I left, too. He squeezes your shoulder. I've got things to work on. Look after yourself, Sleeper. He pushes himself away from the corner and drifts out of the bar. You watch him go,
One more body passing through the belt, trying to find a way to change the future. And we've got new ship crew. We've just completed the little sister. We've recruited Nia into our crew. We've gotten rid of stress. We've got our last glitch die has finally appeared. And we're coming right on over here. We are popping up. I think we're going to pop up Endure. Yep. And then, do we get an extra die? I think we get another one of these. So this gives us 3, so it turns a 1 into a 4. This would turn a 1 into a 5. I think we're going to come here. I think we're going to upgrade that. So now if we get a positive outcome, it removes 2 stress. Yep. So that's just a good way to get rid of stress, a possible way to get rid of stress. And we'll come back to Flotsam here on the backlog next time when we return. I'll play it again later.